Once again, it's a pleasure to have you with us here on the Friday Briefing, and thank you very much for choosing KTN News. I am Ashley Mazuri. Our sign language interpreter is Damian Evans.
And I'm Jesse Rogers. Friday Briefing begins right now. Now, while some Kenyans opted to travel upcountry for Easter festivities, thousands turned up at places of worship to mark Good Friday.
In Nairobi, the head of the Catholic Church, Cardinal John Njue, led faithfuls in the Way of the Cross march across town.
His Anglican Church counterpart, Jackson Sepit, was also at the All Saints Cathedral, the message being the love of Christ, repentance and caring for the less fortunate in society.
Friday morning, Cardinal John Njue kicked off the Way of the Cross march at the Holy Family Basilica, Nairobi. The long walk snaked through Parliament, Haile Selassie, Karioko and Forest Roads, all the way to Westlands, Kileleshwa, St. Paul's and back to the CBD. A stone's throw away from the Basilica, Anglican Church head Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit was at the All Saints Cathedral. His key message for the day: time for Kenyans to humble themselves before God.
We want to propose that this nation is ripe for a day of repentance and prayers.
In Kisumu, the Way of the Cross routine was maintained, Catholic faithfuls joining Kisumu Catholic Archbishop Philip Anyolo and the rest of the world in marking the start of Easter at the St. Joseph's Milimani Church.
Such a day is very important also within the Catholic Church, where we conscientize and remind the people of God to be charitable to the rest of those ones who are suffering.
Easter is one of the most important dates in the Christian calendar, and it's basically a reenactment or remembrance of the trial and crucifixion of Jesus Christ more than 2,000 years ago. For over 2 millennia, Christians across the world have marked Easter by reenacting the journey Jesus Christ made in Calvary on his way to crucifixion at Golgotha. Matthew 27 recounts of strange happenings around Jesus' death, such as darkness all over the world, the splitting of the temple curtain in Jerusalem, and appearance of saints who had died.
I commit my soul.
Christians believe Jesus rose from the dead on the third day, hence celebration of Easter Monday. Mark Namaswa, KTN News.
Many Kenyans travel to different parts of the country during festivities, and this Easter is no exception.
A spot check by KTN News, however, reveals that many have been forced to wait for hours at the bus stations due to unavailability of public service vehicles.
Our reporter Noah Kipkemboy has the details.
As Kenyans headed to the bus stations, loaded and ready to travel to various destinations to join their families this Easter holiday, majority were left stranded due to shortage of matatus. The booking lines were thronged, with patients running out for some.
Nimekuwa hapa kwa line kuanzia saa 12 na nimefika hii town saa 11. Wakati nilikuja hapa nikapata line ni mrefu, nimeamua kuzunguka nitafute njia mbadala ya kwenda, lakini napata fare imepandishwa mara 2 ya kawaida na hata hivyo hakuna magari.
Some say they were even forced to sleep at the stations with the hope of getting transportation to their various destinations.
Na venye nilipata situation ilikuwa mbaya sana jana. Hata naona at least iko sawa. Kuna wenye walilala juu hata mimi nilikuja jana, nilikuwa nataka ni travel jana, lakini waliniambia hakuna nafasi mpaka Saturday asubuhi.
While some claim they had no option but to wait.
Money was collected from us. They gave us tickets. Then we were misled to wait for a few minutes. But thereafter that, we started that waiting game. Or we started waiting for eternity. And especially the situation is even much more desperate for those who are traveling with their little kids. Because now, in this desperate situation, it is difficult to handle them and to take care of them.
But for those in the transport business, it was time to make a kill, and they were looking forward to this. A time for a boom.
The business is good. There are so many passengers. So when compared to the other days, because of this Easter. With us, we had prepared enough. We had to retain some vehicles, more passes, for example, for us to assist us in this siesta.
With the high number of travelers, road safety remains crucial, especially at this time. Recent key transport stakeholders partnered with the police to ensure safety on the roads.
Mwaka uliopita tulikuwa tumepoteza watu 37 kwa siku 3. Lakini kama Wakenya watakubali waendesha magari vile wamekuwa wakiendesha, tunafikiria tutashukuru sana, manake huenda tukakuwa hatuna na ajali yoyote ambayo itakayotokea msimu huu, ama hatutapoteza mtu msimu huu.
Anakagua gari vizuri, anaona kama watu wamefunga mishipi, kama gari iko sawa sawa, kama gari iko condition, kama iko condition unaenda. Kama iko na makosa kidogo unaambiwa hapa enda urekebishe. Hakuna harassment. Afu tunaendelea na safari yetu vizuri.
The consequences for those breaking the law are dire.
Kwa madereva ambao wanapatikana wamekiuka sheria hizi, wamekwenda kwa kasi, au waendesha magari mabovu, leseni zao tunapokonya. Hivyo hawatafanya kazi hii tena ya kusafirisha watu barabarani.
The Easter and other holidays conundrum continues as Kenyans rush to book buses last minute. The overdemand in the transport sector is met by a shortage, leading to stranded customers. Noah Kipkemboi, KTN News, Nairobi.
Many thanks, Noah Kipkemboi. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too, and of course to our viewers.
Definitely. Let's move on. DNA testing to ascertain the parentage of Sharon Mathias, Melon Lutenyo, and Mavis Imbaya has taken place today at a private medical facility in Nairobi, just days after the 3 girls made headlines across the nation following the revelation of their story that could possibly have had them switched at birth 19 years ago.
The DNA testing, which was initially meant to be conducted by the Kenya Medical Research Institute, was instead done by Lancet Friday afternoon, and results for the same are expected in a week, even though the mystery surrounding the circumstances that led to a separation at birth may be far from being solved.
Timothy Utenu now reports.
For the last 4 days, the lives of these 3 girls may only best be described as a roller coaster ride. It's been a week of smiles, which later turned to gloom.
The only thing I want to find out is the truth.
And ultimately tears for Sharon, Melon and Mavis, teenage girls who would have otherwise been enjoying their April school holidays, but now have since been thrust into the national limelight over events that took place at this medical facility nearly 2 decades ago.
Kuna means yote itatumika, itumiwe tufanyiwe DNA.
It's an emotional request that would see the girls alongside their 2 mothers make their way to the Lancet Medical Facility along Ngong Road in Nairobi Friday afternoon. Due to the sensitivity of the case, we were not allowed to film the process of extraction of the DNA for the 3 girls and their mothers. The DNA testing has been funded by the Multiples to Multiples Society, a non-profit group that brings together people born either as twins, triplets or quadruplets.
We got to reach to the family, and today we met physically, where we discussed the challenges that they had, and one of the biggest need for them was to have closure, and closure in this case is to do with testing through DNA so that they confirm parentage of the 3 girls.
The mystery surrounding how 2 girls with a striking resemblance could have ended up in 2 different parts of the country and raised separately is still a puzzle to many, including the girls' respective families, who have since been enrolled into a pre- and post-DNA result counseling session to enhance ease of adapting to the new reality now facing them.
It's going to be very traumatic, especially to the mothers, because there'll be many questions that will not be answered. For example, what really happened at the hospital 19 years ago, and it's almost virtually impossible to get records that far back. But we keep on emphasizing on the future and also on the journey they've shared with these girls.
The DNA results are expected to be out in about a week's time, with many hoping that the medical verdict could possibly solve a puzzle that has remained a mystery to this family for 19 years. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
Well, in Timothy Otieno, a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma.
Oh my God, Jesse, but on the real, what would you do if you found out 20 plus years later that you have a twin?
Well, I'd ask my mom. I don't know.
Wow, we'll take a short break on that note, but we still have much more in store for you.